Welcome to the Chimney and Fireplace Success Network, a weekly broadcast sponsored by CVC Success Group, hosted each week by industry speaker, coach, author, and educator Cheryl Eisenhower. Our presentations are produced to assist business owners and managers in turning their business dreams into their business realities. And now, here is your host, Cheryl Eisenhower.
And I want to welcome you to another episode of the Chimney and Fireplace Success Network. This is our podcast is sponsored by the CVC Success Group, where our mission is to provide the tools to help you and assist you in making your business dreams into your business realities. Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, no matter what time of the day it is. Usually when I do a podcast, often I have a guest on, but this week there is no guest. Why is that? Because I've got some things I want to share with you. I got some thoughts to share with you. So I hope these will prove valuable to you and help you as we go through the days we're in now and moving forward. And I've entitled this episode, Hitting the Wall. That's right, hitting the wall. You know, earlier this year, in the months of January and February, is there anyone that could have envisioned how our world would change in just a few short months to where sometime in March, it probably existed that there was a time that you and your business started hitting a wall. It was like we were running down highways at record speeds, and all of a sudden, the road was filled with potholes. And everywhere we looked, there were obstructions thrown in front of us. This is life as we know it in the year 2020, as we've undergone one of the worst times in our history, in our lives, due to the COVID-19 virus. We've dealt with the time that our leadership has decided to shut our economy down in many areas. Now, as you listen to this, you could be one of different types of businesses. You may be a business that has been able to move this very successfully and have seen financial gain during the spring of 2020. But to be honest with you, many have not. Many have hit that wall, and due to government regulations and the fears in their market area and the fears in their workforces and even the fears that they themselves had, have hit a wall of their businesses stopping, halting. This has been life in 2020. As we moved into this period of time, I often share when I'm talking to people what my personal D-Day was. The day was March 14th. The location was New Orleans, Louisiana. Cheryl and I had been at the HPBA Expo that week in New Orleans, Louisiana, having no idea that very soon the building that we're in would become a field hospital for the city of New Orleans. As people started building up and preparing for the worst, we started seeing hospitals being built in many civic centers around the country. What was even worse, we watched as they started bringing in refrigerated trailers. These were to be morgues for the dead. It was really a really bad time. And it's still with us and it's still ongoing. And when will we come out of this? When will we come out of this completely? To be honest with you, I don't think we'll ever come out of this completely. I think that this will be very similar to 9/11. And it's going to change the way that we live and the way we do business in the future. Just as many times we enter metal detectors now to go into public events, I envision a world that very shortly we may be passing through infrared scanning in order to attend a sporting event, where our temperatures are taken just like they check for metal that we might be carrying in or dangerous weapons into those places. As we look at it, our world is filled with three different personalities. We're filled with the optimist, and the optimist always feels that the sky's going to be blue, that everything's going to be great, and it's all going to be okay. Another personality that we see a lot is the pessimist. And what does the pessimist do? The pessimist tells us that it's all going to fall apart. The pessimist is sharing with us they feel like it's a plot. They feel like it's all made up. They feel like someone has come up with this, and we've been led down one of the most fictitious yellow brick roads in our history. Then we have the realist. And the realists are people that can look at the situation, can drop back, and can make the decisions of what they have to do to make the best of today and to plan for tomorrow. So, which are you? Are you a pessimist? Are you an optimist? Are you a realist? As you get up in the morning, what's in your mind? How will you be moving forward in the coming day? And as I went through this period of time, even in my own business at CBC Success Group, we have been working harder than ever. Why is that? To meet the challenges of our clients who are facing piles of walls that they're hitting. The walls come to us not only from the virus, it comes to us from the regulations that were being passed down. It comes to us from the government loaning of money and the various programs that we're going through. We're now facing often the challenge that government assistance is now competing for our workforces. We're finding that some of our people prefer the world of unemployment over gainful employment. This is a situation we've seen ourselves drift into. And we've seen a situation as businesses that many times we've had to seek help from the government in order to get the monies, the funding that we need to continue in business. As we look out here, and I think to myself, what about all the restaurants in this world that have had to shut down and move to takeout meals? I think about the restaurants that myself and Cheryl used to go to, where we would go enjoying evening, a nice meal, and how that's been disappearing for over 2 months now. Because as I record this, today's date is April 16th. That's over 2 months since D-Day occurred. And as I look at the news each day, we wonder what's going on, what's going to happen next. We see that now areas are starting to come back alive. The economy is being reopened. But we also see that this reopening has its challenges. Restaurants are not going to be able to seat the full capacity. We're probably not going to have as many people getting together. Social distancing has now become the rule of the day. Everywhere we look, depending on the market areas we're in, many of our fellow citizens are wearing masks. They're staying away from other people. They're scared to shop. And this has made a definite change in commerce. And it's made a change in the way we train, the way we lead, the way we use our workforces. In fact, if you look at business consultants, it's predicted that many companies are going to find the benefit of home-based employees. And one of the prediction is that commercial real estate is also going to take a fall. As we look out here and we fill up our automobiles, our cars, our trucks, have you noticed how low the fuel cost is? What's happening is the supply exceeds the demand. It's now a common statement. It's not how many miles you get to a gallon of gas. It's often how many weeks do you get to a tank of gas or even to a gallon of gas. I know in my own life, I filled up my car on March the 15th, and it was into mid-May, just last week when it finally had to have more gas put into it. As we look at it, it's changing the way we live. It's changing our habits. It's enacting new terms. You're hearing a resurgence in the term of staycation. We have people that are at their homes a whole lot more, and they're seeing things that they want to get done. I'm one of those people. I've been looking in my water garden for a number of years, knowing that it was time to clear all the plants over. The liner was starting to leak, so now we have this project going on in our own backyard. I've engaged my grandson, and he's out there, has moved a pile of rock and we're dislodging the plants. We built temporary holding areas for the plants to go in while we're changing out the liners. And that's what a lot of people are doing. And that's what we have to do is see what it's going to be like to succeed in the new next. As I listen to other people, I'm hearing of incidences of the COVID-19 striking within their workforce, where it strikes someone and it has resulted in close to mutiny in some workforces because we have the optimist, the pessimist, and the realist. As we look at this, Can we put ourselves into a glass bubble? Can we isolate ourselves from the rest of the world? Is it determined that we've got to be that way? Is that our future? You see, I think that's the big thing we got to look at is how are we going to move forward? One of my coaches and mentors is a gentleman by the name of Randy Pennington. And Randy called this the new next, the new next. Before I heard Randy say that, I was calling it the new normal, but it's not going to be normal. It is going to be the new next. And one of the thoughts that Randy also shared with me was that the world really hasn't changed. What's changed is the illusions have been pulled back. We've been living in a country where when we went to grocery stores for years and years, we had our regular goods were there. When this started, all of a sudden the supply chain changed. We saw the normal everyday products that we need. All of a sudden, we're in short supply. There's even prediction of what this is going to do to the food supply in this country. What's going to happen as far as the supply chain. And this could even affect the businesses that you are in of how are your materials going to get to you? Will there be a shortage? Many times that's what we see when we come out of a recessionary period, such as we did in 08, 09, 2010. There were shortages. And these shortages at times have caused additional problems. There was a period of time between 2003 and 2007 that we had a sheetrock shortage in this country. And what happened was we started importing sheetrock drywall from the country of China. And now today we're finding out that this sheetrock that was brought in, because there was none that could be sourced from U.S. sources, because there was a shortage, is now causing problems in homes that are resulting in some really massive reconstruction work need to be done because of the health risk this is giving us in our homes. And these things continue to grow. So as we see, what we've got to remember is it's just like Randy said, and he quoted Margaret Thatcher, the Prime Minister of England or the Great Britain, and where Miss Thatcher said, it's not that the world has changed. Rather, it's the illusions that we were under that have pulled back. You see, this is what this is revealed. It's revealed those who have the gumption, the drive to go to the next level when they're faced with adversity. This could even be the people that you sit and admire, the people that have the charisma that you may have looked at as those role models. How are these role models doing during this period? What are the examples of the role models in your life that you look up to, that you look to for inspiration? Are they giving you the strength that you need and the ideas that you need in order to move forward? You see, that's one of the things that we did at our company because we work with companies across the United States. So what did we do? Immediately, we started assembling our client base and having regular weekly roundtable discussions. These have been going on since the 17th of March, where every Tuesday night I round all my clients together and we have in-depth discussions about what the world is doing and what changes we have to do in business. And during this, I've been extremely lucky because many of the friends and associates that Cheryl and myself have spoken to this group of people. We've had some super guests that have come in and interacted and mingled with our clients. They've included a star-studded cast. It's people like Tom Ziegler, the son of Zig Ziglar, Larry Winget, Randy Pennington, Scott McCain, and others that are coming in, not coming in and charging to help people, rather coming in and assisting our clients due to their friendship with myself and Cheryl. And it's been a phenomenal thing. And that's what we got to look at. One of the things that I've often heard said through this crisis is we're all in this together. But as I look at the world around me, I'm wondering, are we really all in this together? Or is it a period that we're continuing with the classic one-upmanship that so many people have to do? Is that where we're at? Or are we truly all in this together. I've seen some people that have shared tremendously during this period. One of our team members here at CB Success Group is Donovan Blanks. And I've seen Donovan rise up to the occasion of helping our clients and participating in and facilitating their training remotely. I've seen Tim Reed producing so many webinars that the young man is exhausted. Actually, yesterday he did one webinar, and as soon as he completed it, he immediately stepped into another webinar. And it was all because Tim wants to share the ways you can get through this and be successful on the other side. I look at Brandy Biswell, one of my team members, and how Brandy has stepped up to the plate and has appeared on many of our open trainings over the last few weeks. And one person I want to recognize especially is my wife, Cheryl Eisenhower, because as I'm recording this, she's actually sitting in her office going through a 2-day recertification course to maintain her Ziegler certification. She did two days last week. She's doing 2 days this week. But during this, and I look at Cheryl and I look at how she keeps putting it out, where she's a CEO of one company, IBD Outdoor Rooms. Then she works with our company doing hiring for people and helping me with coaching people through their problems. And then she's doing hiring for clients across America. And I think to myself, that woman is truly phenomenal in the way that she keeps doing this day after day after day and never gives up, never gives up. She just keeps going at it. And she just makes me so proud to see someone that with her skills and her determination. And it makes me so proud to know that she's right beside me as my mentor, my best friend, and more. So that's the question that goes down to you. And I'm going to ask you a question that may hit a little hard. Whenever this crisis started, one of the resounding words and phrases I heard was, don't waste the crisis. Now, when I first heard those words, I had to do some research. Where in the world does this come from? Who came up with these words? And what I found out was that the words, don't waste the crisis, were commonly attributed to Winston Churchill. But it actually goes back into the 16th century with an Italian philosopher who wrote that quote at that time. It was also used by President Obama's administration with one of his chiefs of staff during the 2008 to 2010 crisis, which was, don't waste the crisis. You see, that's the thing. So the question to you as we sit here in the middle of May, have you wasted the crisis? Have you truly worked since this crisis has been underway to build the culture of yourself, to build the culture and the skill level of your team members? Have you truly been a leader, or did you revert back to being a follower? Did you have to depend on someone else to lead you? See, this is when leadership becomes the most important thing, because leaders are who are going to put the fire in the people's hearts and the people's stomachs that they lead. Leaders never light a fire under people. Rather, what does a leader do? They light a fire in people. They light fires of hope. They light fires of where you can go. So as I close out this episode, I want you to understand. I understand where each and every one of you have been over the past 2 months. I understand these walls that you've hit. I understand what it's like when you get up and wonder, will there be a tomorrow? And what will be in this tomorrow for me? Why do I understand this? Because to be honest with you, I hit this wall 10 years ago in a time far, far away at this point that seems like it doesn't exist. But this is what I know. The walls that I hit, the challenges that I underwent, the downfalls that I took, they made a change in me. They really have. And this is how I know it. I got an email this morning from an old friend of mine who watched a class of mine this week. This was a very close friend. Even before I suffered my downfall. And what she shared with me was that she had went to my class this week and that the change that I had went through since these earlier times was amazing to her. And I hear other people tell me this also. Sure, do you go through life and you regret the things of your past? Sure you do. We all do. I do. I'm sure you can. But at the same time, how are you going to get up from these walls and move to where you envision you can be? You see, because one of the things that I've done is I found out that I thank my lucky stars that I hit some significant walls a decade ago. And I had to change everything that I do, my role in life, my occupation. I had to learn new skills. I had to learn to look at myself. I learned that I was the biggest problem I had in my life was Jerry. And I faced this. I faced this. So that's what I'm going to encourage you to do. Prepare for this new next. Move into it. Look through the windshield. Please don't run your life based on what's in the mirror. If you base it on what's in the mirror, you know what's going to happen? You're going to have head-on collisions. You can't drive by what's in the past, but what you do is keep these memories of the past. This is the tuition that each of us pays in life, is the life experiences that we have. And by having these life experiences and deciding how we can be better and how we can move forward in the future, taking advantages of the life lessons that we've learned that can propel us to where we want to go in life. So with that, first of all, I really want to thank you if you sat through this. Like I said, I had a few things I wanted to say today. This is why there is no guest. I've had some great guests on here lately, people like Bob Daniels and others that have really shared a lot of information. But this was an episode that I had some things I needed to say. I had some things that I wanted to share with you. And I shared these things with you in the hope that they will benefit you to move forward to where you want to go. When I wrote my book, Chaos to Reinvention, this was probably one of the hardest tasks that I've ever taken on in my life. Because what I did, I exposed my insides in this. But at the same time, I wrote this so no one would ever feel sorry for me, rather that they could benefit from the experiences I had, and they would be able to use the tuition that I paid to move forward. You see, I've been here before. I know what it feels like, and I can share the frustrations that you have. I understand them. So with that, my best to you today. As we move forward through the month of May and we start seeing America reopen, let's keep our optimism up. Let's keep our pessimism under control. But most of all, let's be a realist and let's move on and get to the next level, the level we envision, what I call our dreams. Thanks for joining me. This is Jerry Eisenhower, and let us know here at CVC Success Group how we can help you turn your business dreams into your business realities. Let's have a phone call. Doesn't cost you a dime. Let's talk. Maybe we may have the answers that you've been searching for. See you next time on the next episode of the Chimney and Fireplace Success Network.
Thanks for joining us here each week at the Chimney and Fireplace Success Network, sponsored by CVC Success Group, providing you the coaching and educational outreach services you need to move to your dream destination in business and in life.